got Jeebus.
What?
It's got Jeebus.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just watching this guy crawl around. It's a gun.
With a gun, yeah.
So it's like a four person, just kind of free for all.
Yeah, it's like a co-op shooter thing where you run around and kill things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Which we'll get right into without much of a cold open. Welcome to the Vomitorium Weekday show for the 27th of September, 2021. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. How you doing today?
Great. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had a little echo there. Doing great.
Yeah.
In my new digs, which are very sparsely decorated right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I have a single small bookshelf. Yes, same chair, new bookshelf that I'm working on putting stuff in. I put my Lego NES up there behind my head.
I see. Yeah, the only thing I noticed at first was the Zelda chest because your head was covering mostly everything else.
Yeah, so I don't need to have a fake background anymore. Although I now have room for my green screen, so I could use that potentially.
Yeah, you could put that up in the background until you get better stuff.
Yeah. I could, but I've got better stuff. I just need to go get like that sticky tack stuff to put posters and stuff up. That wouldn't be a problem. If I got my lights set up, so lights off, lights on. I'm all set.
I kind of like
gradually.
I want one, just like not even a green screen. I just want a framed green, like just block on a wall, like the size of a TV. Maybe it's got like LED lights around on the inside of the frame to properly light it, so that you don't have to have a light shining on the green part all the time. And then I could just like chroma that out, like how they have like a TV block on the news where they can use it for stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. You would just have to make sure you line up whatever you're showing with the part that's chroma keyed out.
Yeah. That's fine. Like what you do is you keep a pre-sized block there, and you can just change the thing as long as it's always the same dimensions going in there. It'll be pre-cropped and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. So how are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was uneventful. But it was relaxing, so like I can't complain. The only complaint is that I was confused or worried that we may not be able to run the show again today because my mom and brother ended up with my charger cord for my laptop that I used to run the show when I was leaving. So I had to like hope they were coming through. My mom had to come through this town anyway because she picks up her medications over here. So that was in luck. We came in time. I had it by like 6 o'clock.
Cool. Well, I spent my first night in my new apartment last night, and this morning, guess what I woke up to?
Lawnmowers.
A waterfall in my living room.
Waterfall.
It's a feature. It's apparently a feature.
It's not a bug.
I think I don't know. The upstairs neighbor, I think overflowed her tub or something. Hopefully it's not. It didn't smell, so I don't think it was a toilet, or at least not a dirty toilet. But something happened upstairs, and she wouldn't let me in. I went upstairs and knocked on the door, and she was like, "I know."
That's a great first weekend.
Okay. Yeah. First night.
Yeah.
So I currently have old towels and things over there soaking up the water out of the carpet. So luckily I didn't have anything. It was over there by the bathroom. There are no electronics on the floor. anything on the floor really. So it's just wet carpet. That's all. It'll dry.
Yeah.
So
I had similar, not in form, but just the fact that I had issues relating to apartment. I found out that staying in a ground level motel is often like living in a ground level apartment complex. Because one day, I was woken up for somebody who was just parked outside listening to their loud ass music for 3 hours straight in their car. And I'm like, man, this is just like when I lived in a freaking apartment complex in Arlington. Why are people like this?
Like early in the morning?
No, it was early for me, but it was like 11 o'clock. Still, it was before noon, and they were in an apartment, or in a motel parking lot, blasting the music so loud you could probably hear it a block away.
I don't know what to say about that. Yeah. I can hear traffic outside, but the parking lot's over here, but my bedroom's over there. So I can hear traffic, but it didn't bother me. I can sleep right through traffic. So.
Oh yeah, traffic doesn't bother me. It's just a bunch of whirring noises. It's the freaking assholes that blast their music. At least it's not even good music either, right? It's that it's that weird trap house music or whatever they call it, right? It's like it's that it's like mumble rap, but it's like the really, really shitty mumble rap. It's not even the good stuff. And like, why do you like this shit? If you're gonna listen to something in this general field, at least listen to the good stuff.
Yeah.
I never.
Did my internet go down or did yours?
I think I'm fine.
I think mine hiccuped. That's all right.
Yeah. But I like, I don't know. I never understood people with shitty taste in music.
I don't know. People around here so far, knock on wood, haven't been too loud. Just, dumping water on my carpet. That's all.
Yeah.
Which, for better or for worse, didn't wake me up until it was all pretty much over. I don't even know when it happened.
Anyway.
We've
got stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Are you ready for Windows 11?
Oh, God, no. Fuck Windows 11. Fuck Windows 10.1.
No. Anyway.
Yeah, the more I look into it, the more I look into it, the more it's just looking like Windows 10.1.
Yeah. It looks very similar.
Yeah.
10. And they're giving it away for free, right? It's a free upgrade?
As far as I know. But I need to look more into that, because right now it just seems like they're beta testing the fucking OS again, like they did when they upgraded people to 10 for free.
Yeah.
And that was a disaster for numerous people.
Yeah. Well, it's available today for people in the Microsoft Insider program. The final build, whatever that means. And available for the rest of us October 5th.
Yeah, well, so what I would say is the Insider program is basically the closed beta, and coming October, welcome to the open beta.
That's right. 8 short days.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Oh, sure.
I'll probably install it in like VMware just to try it out.
Yeah, that'd be smart.
Unfortunately, you know what I discovered? I have VMware Fusion on my new laptop, which I had on my old laptop. But my new laptop has an M1 chip. It's not an Intel chip.
Oh, yeah.
So none of my VMs work on it. So I have other VMs, Linux and Windows and all kinds of stuff. None of them work.
Yeah,
shit. I think I need to
talk about virtual machines before, but you did mention it had an M1 chip.
Yeah. What I discovered is that Parallels will do it. Will basically convert or whatever, allow a a normally Intel only OS to run on the M1 chip, but VMware won't. So I'll have to switch to Parallels if I want to. I don't really care. I got VMware on this desktop, so I'll just try Windows 11 on that. No big deal.
Fucking Windows 11. I swear to God.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say about it. I haven't really looked into the features. Are there features? I don't
know.
It's light blue this time instead of whatever Windows 10 is.
But didn't Windows used to have their own like blue? Like it was like a trademark Pantone or something like that. It was like a Windows sky blue or something.
Seemed like it, yeah. They've kind of switched to a sort of a powder blue, baby blue color for Windows 11. So, but seriously, other than like the backgrounds and colors, I have no idea what is in this.
Probably more spyware. I would assume that straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Less control for the user.
What's funny is, as much as I don't really know all the differences between all of the Mac OS releases, at least when they do a Mac OS release, like the big deal is like they list out all the new features.
Yeah.
Like every time. Like that's like first and foremost. Here's all the new things you can do. Here's why you want to upgrade. If it's Windows 11, like I can't find it. I mean, maybe on the Microsoft website it does that, but like...
Listen, I'm going to break down Windows for you, right? Right here. This is just every single window. I'm going to break it down. This is the Windows feature. Upgrade to the next OS before we stop supporting the security on the one you're running.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're holding your feet, like holding you by your feet upside down, shaking money out of your pockets. Or else they're going to drop you off of this frickin' banister.
Like, I can't even find... I mean, seriously, and when there's a new Mac OS, it's front and center on the Apple website.
Yeah.
It's taken me, like, okay, 3 or 4 clicks to get to the Windows 11 page on the Microsoft site. And again... I see no fucking features list. Easy to use tools to optimize screen space. Okay. So yeah.
Don't we already have those?
You can make windows different sizes. Okay.
Oh yeah, I could do that anytime.
We've had that since Windows 3.0 or something.
Something like that at least. What was the first Windows to have a GUI?
I guess 1.0.
Yeah, okay, then. You could resize Windows then.
Yeah. What, a new version of Microsoft Teams? That has nothing to do with the OS.
Yeah, you can install that in the old one.
Outlook. Okay, now they're going into Office. I don't know.
Most
stupid.
Windows consumers are basic bitches. So Office is the big thing. They don't know the difference between operating systems. They're just like, oh, well, I need to use Office for my job or for school.
Yeah.
They don't understand that you could just get a new version on an older operating system. They're just like, whatever Microsoft tells me, I'll do it.
Yeah, I have Office 365, so I always have the latest version.
That's why, like, It's the same problem with, like, Apple users. It's just their stuff in general moves over past just computers. But a lot of, like, the average just consumer base, they stick with something because it works for them. And they have no idea, like, why they use it or how the thing they use functions. They just do whatever the company tells them because, well, it's been working, so obviously they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Windows 11... Get it before Windows 10 is
no longer supported.
Obsolete. Yeah, like 10 years from now.
Yeah, didn't they? It was like 2 years ago or whatever, or 2018, maybe 3 years ago now, when they stopped supporting Windows 7. It really wasn't that long ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was like a year and a half ago or something.
Year and a half ago, yeah. Okay.
Like almost 2 years.
People were still using 7 up to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like January 2020 when the support ran out. Yep. Well, better upgrade to Windows Vista, everyone.
Better, things.
Yeah. So anyway, more important things. What's more important than that?
Oh, I just got a message from my brother, because I already told you this. So they had to drop off my cable, right? And I wasn't here when they dropped it off. I was going for a walk because I thought they were going to be here half an hour later than they actually showed up. And I saw them pulling away as I was walking back to the house. I was trying to wave them down so I could say hi and stuff like that. But they just dropped it off to my roommate. And they stupidly thought that the switch charger that was plugged into the wall next to my laptop cord was mine. But I have my Switch charger. I actually was playing my Switch on my TV last night to kind of pass the time while I couldn't use my computer. And they dropped it off. It's like, well, this was one of yours. What are you doing? It's kind of partially my fault, though. I should have been here. I thought they were coming much later, so I had time to go for a walk. So that's a little my bad, but my mom also used her mirrors. She would have seen me behind her waving her down.
She's just driving away, huh?
Horrible driver. Doesn't ever check her mirrors.
Now look what I got. You want to see what I got at the grocery store?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just before
we get into the cool stuff.
Yeah. Can you guess? Guess what I found? What I managed to find at the grocery store.
Probably something stupid or cool. I don't know.
Yay, Pokemon Oreos!
Yeah, my brother had like 8 boxes of those.
Did he find any Mews?
I don't remember. I know that's what he was looking for. Yep.
They're kind of hard to find. They're really tucked away in the midst of the thousands of different types of Oreos.
He was even saying right now the stable price on eBay is about $25 if you happen to have a Mew. And I'm just like, that's dumb. Just go out and buy a box.
I know. I'm sure there's like 1 or 2 in here for whatever I paid, the $5 or whatever for this. You want to see?
Well, apparently it's very likely that you can buy a box without there being a single Mew in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
First one out of the box. Sandshrew.
Yep. I understand if like
Charmander.
They weren't selling them anymore. Like we were talking about when they announced it. People wanting it and paying $25 for it, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, I hate that Pokemon. Pokemon's ugly as fuck.
I'm gonna touch everyone, so if you ever come over, just know they've all been touched. Cyndaquil.
No, yes.
Actually, pretty good renditions.
I'm gonna leave my house right now and start heading halfway across the country to go touch your Oreos.
Dratini. This is actually Dratini is the one that I currently have walking with me in Pokemon Go.
Oh, nice.
I think it's a Dratini.
I should see if the battery in my Pokewalker.
Snivy?
Snivy, yeah, that's the grass snake Pokemon. It's one of the starters. It's from
Hey, Bulbasaur. Hey.
Yeah. You got 3 fucking grass starters?
Piplup.
Piplup.
Anyway. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
They have
a lot of
a freaking. They have birthday cake Oreos and carrot cake Oreos. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That sounds fucking disgusting.
Where did they come
Like,
up
both
with
of those
those?
sound disgusting. I hate carrot cake, and I hate birthday cake, because birthday cake tastes like plastic. I don't know why people want birthday cake. I'd rather just make a cake from scratch. So they get one of those store-bought birthday cakes. I don't get how people love that flavor.
I actually really like the golden Oreos. Those are good.
The golden Oreos are fine, yeah. Yeah. But, like, fucking birthday cake? It's like... What the fuck is going on?
I kind of like... Should I try it? Because I couldn't actually find these. I thought they were all gone, and so I was like, maybe I'll try the birthday cake, and then I was like, oh, there they are. There was like 2 of them. So they are hard to find amongst the thousands of other kinds of Oreos.
I like, what is it, like the strawberry Oreos, where it's the normal cream, but they got like the pink,
Yeah. Good stuff. Crazy Oreos. Oh, and there's like coffee, mocha, whatever you call it. Oreos.
I've
Never
had
tried
a coffee Oreo before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever tried any kind of Oreo except regular and the golden one. I don't think I've ever tried any other kind.
I don't think I would normally, but like, my mom was always like, she loved cookies. She was like a cookie monster growing up. And she would buy them for herself mostly, but obviously having kids, like, you have to let your kids try one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I tried a lot of them.
Yeah. When I was a kid, they didn't have that. They had like 2 kinds. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, games.
Yeah, back to that.
Games. There's a cool game coming out on the 29th, so that's Wednesday, just a couple days from now, related to Newgrounds. You know me, I'm a big Newgrounders. I love the Newgrounds. And there's a property that's pretty popular on there. Actually, it's gotten so popular in certain space in the internet that it's not just like restricted to Newgrounds when it comes to the fan base. And it was a feature called Madness. Originally related to Madness Combat, but it is a series. And they have a game called Madness Project Nexus, which is going live on Steam in 2 days.
I'm gonna play the video
add it to
of
your
it.
wish list whenever you want, for those interested. Somewhere in Nevada, and it's a multiplayer kind of like co-op shooter game. It's that like top-down ish kind of free-for-all style shooter. Up to 4 people can play together. If you're playing by yourself, main character is Hank, but you can play as Stanford and Deimos, and I think, Jeebus is also playable as the 4th player if you have the whole roster filled up. You can also customize your character and stuff. Those names all mean something to people who actually know what Madness is. I was never huge on it. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I have a respect for it, and I'm familiar enough with the lore that I can talk about it. It's a very, like I said, very popular property over on Newgrounds. And it's
funny.
I've
I've
seen
never
people play this
heard
game.
of it.
Like the test version of it, because I know people that have worked on it, and I talked to one of the people who worked on this trailer several times over the last few months or whatever. His name is Brandy. He's a cool dude, and like I got to see gameplay. It looks really solid. I've seen more like in-depth gameplay than just the little bit shown in the trailer here. I've seen how it works multiplayer. Some of my friends, I've watched them all play together, up to 4 people. Solid gameplay. If you like these sort of like run-around shooter types, like Alien Swarm and stuff like that, you would very much enjoy this game. And if you enjoy Madness, it plays just like you expect from watching or playing the other stuff that you've seen previously, Flash games and Flash videos. Like, it's exactly what you expect. Very solid game. In just 2 days.
Yeah.
If
for some reason
what are you saying?
It's not at all in the style, but for some reason, like the bosses kind of remind me of like Cuphead kind of bosses. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's just something about the style that's kind of reminds me of that.
So the basic lore to Madness is Hank, the main character. Basically, he started off as just a dude minding his own business, but he's got a little bit of a temper problem. And this dude next to him was playing the music on his boombox too loud. He asked him to, like, turn it off, right? And the guy just shoved him instead. So then Hank started beating the shit out of him. And, like, all the other people at the park, probably, like, his friends and stuff, start walking up to try to fight Hank. And then Hank just ends up killing them all. And then Jeebus even shows up and be like, hey, man, you don't want to do this. And then he kills Jeebus. And then starts dancing to the boombox anyway, because Hank is a disturbed person. And it kind of just goes out of nowhere from there. He starts to hunt down the sheriff of Nevada, probably because he's a wanted man at this point for killing a bunch of people. And he has to go through, like, a bunch of the sheriff's goons and everything. And that's where he runs into Tricky the Clown for the first time, who's a mercenary that's protecting the sheriff. Jeebus is like, hey, man, again, you don't want to do this. And when he goes to kill the sheriff, Jeebus actually shoots him in the back of the head. But Hank doesn't die. Or he does die and he just comes back. That's not clear. And he hunts down the sheriff. And it just spirals into this crazy mess where it turns out that there was a dude pulling the strings the whole time called the Auditor who wanted Hank to do all this stuff. And it's crazy. It's a lot of crazy stuff. Clown comes back from the dead. People get demon powers. Other friends of Hank, if you can even call them friends, or just like allies, get involved. It's a fun little mess. The word madness applies to it because there's no rhyme or reason to anything. It's just kind of like bullet porn, I guess is a good way to say it, right? Like, you know how 80s films were kind of like, they like to call it roid porn. Those 80 action films. It's kind of like that. Yeah. It's kind of like an 80s action film, but it's just splatters of blood cleanly placed everywhere. Just bullets killing. It's the type of edgy stuff that you'd like on the internet if you were a teenager.
Okay. Yeah, it says something about extreme violence or something.
It's a very violent series.
This game features cartoon violence and gore. Beware. Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. A lot of triggers are going to be pulled.
That's right. But it's Steam only. Steam only tomorrow, or in 2 days. On Windows.
Excellent from what I've seen. I can recommend it. And it supports, what's it called? Remote play. Because that's something like the developers have to enable on Steam anytime something wants to use it. And they have, that's how I saw it played. Only one person, while they were doing the test, owned the game. Obviously, it was one of the guys who had a copy for testing. And the other people were all playing through remote play. They had it works as long as everybody's got a controller. Up to 4 people can play with remote play. You got to appreciate games like that.
Well, hey, speaking of remote play, did you know that you can connect your Steam Deck to a PC via remote play and use it as just a controller?
Did not know that. I would have assumed, just knowing how the way Valve does things, but it's nice to see confirmation on it.
Yeah, so I guess you'll be able to do that with this game.
I don't know if I'd want to. That's a pretty bulky, like, cumbersome controller. I think I'd rather just plug anything else in, but I guess you already have it.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't I just use my regular controller?
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to use my Switch as a controller on somebody else's Switch, which, I mean, thinking about it, you totally could do because you could use the Joy-Cons, but why would I not just, like, unplug them and either use them in this form, which I have them in because I was playing No More Heroes recently, and you play it with motion controls, or with the frickin' dock controller, the dog. Like, why would I hold the whole fucking Switch to do that? That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I guess if you wanted to play on your PC for some reason, like it was needed more power, but you didn't have another controller, I guess.
See, I already got the game on my PC. I mean, hell, you can even use frickin' Joy-Cons on the PC if you use the Bluetooth. And I don't know why anybody would want to use your Steam Deck as a controller.
Yeah, but you can. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if
Jeff Goldberg,
if remote play,
you kept thinking about whether you could. And not once did any of you ask whether you should.
Yeah. But I don't know, when it says remote play, doesn't that mean it's actually on the Steam Deck screen, though?
I'm guessing.
So, like, I guess if something really needed your PC hardware for some reason, or I guess if it didn't work in the Proton OS, but it worked in Windows or something.
Well, so at this point, it's like, what was the streaming style, right? Because that's what remote play was originally made for. You can play with other people multiplayer through remote play for games that support, like, local multiplayer. Mm-hmm. But it was designed so that you could have something running on your computer, and then you could use, like, the Steam box or some other device that's not as powerful and play something in the other room as more of, like, a monitor that's wirelessly streaming the stuff over there. Like, I guess if you want to do local multiplayer, and here's how it would function as a controller. You could still be playing with your normal controller, and your friend who comes over could just play as player 2 off of your system. They'd still see everything on their screen. They don't have to be looking at your TV if you don't have a big enough monitor or whatever. It'd be weird to have two people crowding around my laptop, but if somebody could sit on the bed and play off their Steam. Like, I could see ways that it would be functional. It's not as dumb as I'm making it out. But if you have a powerful computer, and you could just sit at your computer and play it, and you had yours, there's no reason you personally should use your Steam Deck as a controller for your computer with remote play. That just seems like a waste of processing, because it does take a little bit more out of your computer to do remote play.
Yeah. Well, anyway, not to change the subject or anything, but from our last subject, but I guess we're already on it. Steam released an FAQ yesterday on the Steam Deck. So what do you want to know? What's your frequently asked question?
I don't have any. I kind of know everything I need to know about the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I guess I could pick out a few of the more interesting, because it's kind of long. I won't read all of them. But you can have multiple Steam accounts. Log into one and,
I figured.
Log out, log in. Each one gets its own local save data.
Try to make it like the Switch that way.
Yeah. The each trackpad has its own LRA motor for haptic feedback. On each,
kind of like the Steam controller, I would assume that as well.
Yeah, the touchscreen is multi-touch, 10 fingers, up to 10 fingers.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you need to, right? Because they have a touchscreen keyboard for things that require a keyboard. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that require, like, multiple presses at the same time. So, obviously, they need it to be multi-touch.
Yeah. And hey, Rebellious Pastry, thanks for watching. Let's see. How long is the charging cable? Who cares?
I could just get a longer one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's 5 feet long, in case you care.
Yeah, I think I could probably get the same type of port for 20 feet if I really need something longer.
I think we already knew this, but it does support multi-boot. You can boot to different OSs.
We did know that.
And you can also, it can also allow you to add games, just like Steam, like add outside games and install games other than Steam games.
Yeah.
Apparently, whatever works in the Proton OS, or if you install Windows on it.
Because they are trying to market this that this is just like a kind of like a gaming computer, and they've already handed it off to several other people to see if their different stuff will work on it. Like, I know, Microsoft is not trying to get Game Pass or those type of things working on other consoles They don't see the Steam Deck as a console. And Spencer had already even said that the Xbox stuff does work on the Steam Deck. So they clearly see this as a computer. They want this stuff to work on the computer. What was the other one? Origin, I know, already works on Steam Deck, and there's like one other that was confirmed to work, but I can't remember what it is right now.
The dock does not improve performance, unlike the Switch dock.
Uplay was the other one. Uplay was the other one that already works on it, yeah.
Yeah. The dock does not improve performance. When it's in portable mode, it's full performance. So,
no, to be fair, the dock doesn't really improve performance on the Switch either. It's like a virtual enhancement, if anything.
Well, but it allows you to play higher resolution.
Yeah, but that's not really much of a... Like, it's a visual improvement, sure, but the way they do it, it doesn't actually improve anything. It's an illusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says it does work with PC VR headsets, but it says that it is not optimized for VR experiences. I'm guessing it means it's not powerful enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can boot off the SD card if you have an OS on your SD card.
I was gonna assume it wouldn't be strong enough for VR because you need a pretty powerful machine for VR. Even like last gen machines, like there was the PlayStation VR. Some of the components to make it work was in the VR helmet itself, which is why it was heavier than the average helmet. And even then, you would still get like skipping and stuff like that on the PlayStation 4. The 5 and the new Xbox are powerful enough to handle VR natively. And computers of the equivalent are. But it was even taking a while for even like your average desktop computer to be strong enough to play VR. I'm not surprised that even like the upgraded Tegra chip just isn't enough. Like you need a lot of power to handle VR.
Yeah. And the audio jack supports audio and mic.
That I expect too, because it fully supports Steam Chat. So if you want it to fully support Steam Chat, you need to be able to support a microphone.
Yeah. So I think that's all the interesting things.
Shit, I've got a powerful laptop, and I'm pretty sure, like, you don't want to run VR on laptops anyway. This also might be another reason why you wouldn't want to, it's not powerful enough, because the way, like, the integrated chip system and boards work, even, like, oh, well, we've got you a GPU chip that's, like, the equivalent of graphics. It's not the same as having, like, an actual graphics card in there, an actual processing unit, which is kind of, like, a requirement for VR to work properly.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you have it.
Yeah. It's everything you need to know. I mean, it was really nothing we needed to know. Like I said, I already knew everything I needed to know about the Steam Deck already. Yeah. There's a bunch of, like, really eager, pedantic people on the internet that they had to answer these questions for.
Yeah, they just said they were basically just grabbing questions from everywhere, wherever they saw it, on Twitter, Reddit, emails to Gabe, whatever.
Yeah.
They just put together some questions that I guess people had. So again, it seems like another, I don't know, superfluous device. Kind of.
So, here's something that I thought was interesting. And it almost sounds like, one, he's trying to take the heat off his own back, which it shouldn't be on his back anyway. But two, he's actually trying to get something done. Are you familiar with Hideki Kamiya?
Name rings a bell.
He is the director / producer at Platinum Games. That's his studio. You would know him as the guy who created Bayonetta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's also the same guy that blocks anybody who talks to him on Twitter in any language except for Japanese, which he does have written in clear English in his Twitter bio. I don't know why people continue to talk to him in English or other languages. That is like...
I remember because... Yes, he has... I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
He has been going around finding fan art of Bayonetta and pointing out that they forgot the mole.
Yes, a lot of people always forget the mole. It's a trade feature.
Always, over and over. And I responded to him once in Japanese. It's not a mole, it's a beauty mark.
Yeah.
Because he called it a mole.
Well, at least you responded in Japanese.
I did. I don't know. He might have blocked me anyway, because I have no idea if it translated correctly or not.
Yeah. You should have ran it by me. I would have told you.
Plus, I don't think there is a Japanese phrase for beauty mark. I think it translated it to something.
There's a way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to be careful how you combine certain words in Japanese.
Yeah. I probably did it wrong. He probably blocked me.
Maybe.
I don't know. So what is he doing? What is he
okay,
do?
So he's telling fans to ask Nintendo specifically, not to ask him, because he has no power over this. Nintendo's the publisher. But to ask Nintendo for PlayStation and Xbox ports of Bayonetta 3. Which, I'm laughing, because there doesn't need to be a PlayStation or Xbox version of Bayonetta 3. But at the same time, I think this is actually a very smart play. Because, again, Nintendo's the publisher, so it's not on him. Right? It's on them whether that gets made. And I don't think it's out of the question. Because Nintendo's starting to be a little bit more open about this stuff than they used to be. For things that aren't, like, solely their in-house first-party stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't own Platinum, but because they license this from a third party, you could kind of consider Bayonetta at this point like a second-party game. It's kind of like in that halfway median. They did this with Bravely Default, right? Bravely Default is a commissioned game from Nintendo to Square that was Nintendo exclusive, so it's kind of in that like happy medium of a second party. And it's on Steam now. Octopath, similarly, is also on Steam.
Yeah.
And
I think they should do it.
I think there's also Travis Strikes Again is on Steam as well. So, like, they should at least have a Steam version of Bayonetta 3. For sure.
I think they should wait. They should release it on Switch, wait 6 months to a year, and then let it go on other platforms.
Well, that's what's going to have to be anyway, because I think even Bravely Default, it was 6 months. Octopath, it was a whole year. I don't think stuff like that, like it would be any less. I would like to see Bayonetta 2 on Steam first anyway, if they are going to do that, because right now Bayonetta 2 is only available on the Wii U, I think. Did they do a Switch version of that?
Yes, it's also on Switch.
It is on Switch. Okay. I think we did check this recently. Like, you went to the eShop and checked.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are on Switch. But, but Bayonetta 2 is not on Steam.
Yeah, only the first one is. Because the first one was made before Nintendo picked it up. It was already on Steam. That's why I would like to see Bayonetta 2 on Steam before 3 if they did do something like that. But, especially with Nintendo's relationship with Microsoft right now, it might be out of the question for a PlayStation port, no matter how much anybody asks. That's a very rocky relationship. With kind of Nintendo's fault. But they have a pretty good relationship with Microsoft. I don't think an Xbox version of Bayonetta is 100% out of the question, if there is a demand for it. And Nintendo knew, well, they're still going to be making a cut, like maybe 5% off of sales or something like that.
I think it's reasonable. It would be nice. I mean, I probably won't. If I get Bayonetta 3, it'll be on Switch.
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
It would be nice for other people to be able to get it
on sale. I wouldn't even mind getting 1 and 2 for the Switch, because I have the original on Steam. That's how I play it. I've played 2, but I've never owned 2, and it was back on the Wii U. It was a buddy. I was borrowing it. So, since I've never owned it, I wouldn't mind picking up the first 2 again on the Switch. I've got plenty of space for it. Yeah. It would make me want to play 3 even more. It's kind of like No More Heroes. I've played the first 2 before, but I picked it up again because I really like the games. I just started, like I said, this is why my Joy-Cons are in this form. I started playing 1 again while I was at the hotel because I had nothing better to do. It was like, man, I've been wanting to play it. Here's the time I'm going to start playing No More Heroes. The games that like, I want the Switch version because then I can play them anywhere. So this game sucks to play anywhere because it's a Wii game. So it's motion controls. So I have to take these off and play it. So I have to set the thing up like a little TV stand. And I'm looking at the tiny thing far away from me. So you can like
tabletop mode
swipes because you execute people with directions. And it's like you don't have to play with motion controls. There's a way to turn it off. But I've heard that the game sucks with motion controls turned off.
Oh, really?
Because you have to do like quick inputs that don't always register. It was built for motion controls, so you play it with motion controls.
Yeah, same with like Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
you can technically do it without, but I think it's actually going to be. Seems like it would actually be harder to do without motion controls because that's not what it was designed for.
Yeah.
The Wii, whole generation of screwed up games that require multiple motion controls.
You know what? They were great on the Wii, though. Like, I don't blame them. Motion controls were fine on the Wii. There was a lot of fun games. I know a lot of people complained. Yeah. There were some games that, like, the studio was lazy or they didn't know what they were doing. So, like, the motion controls were, like, half-assed or whatever. But, on the whole, it was a fine generation with a lot of fun games. I mean...
Yeah, it was fun at the time. I never had a problem with the Wii. I love the Wii.
Yeah. When
it was contemporary or whatever. Like, I love the motion controls. I love Skyward Sword and, you know, all that. But now, trying to port them to, like, Switch and stuff, seems like it's a challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a problem. But at the time, yeah, I liked them.
I still like most of them.
I'm trying to think. You know what else?
It's great though, right? Because you can, you can port them to the Switch no problem because of this particular end of the controller.
Yeah, but Skyward Sword doesn't use that.
It's weird.
I don't know
why they don't.
Yeah, it's annoying because it's constantly getting off center because it can't tell which way you're pointing, just constantly. So I'm just like always having to recenter and.
Yeah, I don't get
obnoxious.
That. What I don't get is why they don't use it properly because this does have infrared, but it's only facing backwards, right? So it's kind of like a gyro. So it basically what it does is using the infrared, it tells level and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like you easily could use this as the only controller, turn it around. I mean, just remap the buttons backwards. And you could use this as more of a pointer. It works. I don't know why they don't. Whatever.
I don't know.
But there's no. Wouldn't they have? This is literally just motion. That's all it detects is motion. Like up and down is the same. It doesn't matter whether you point it up or down. Left and right is the same. So it doesn't matter which direction that one's pointing at all.
Yeah, it's a problem because on the Wii, it wasn't a problem. You had a stationary sensor bar.
Yeah.
And so you never had to recenter. I mean, hardly ever. It just always, because it could tell exactly where you're pointing. So, man. Yeah, it's annoying in Skyward Sword having to recenter all the time.
Yeah. That's why, like, so No More Heroes is fine. Because it doesn't really have direction for the most part. And what little direction it has, like, the direction that matters, it's only this controller. Right?
Yeah.
So what matters in No More Heroes is his stance, and he has either, if it's level or low, it's low stance. If it's up, it's high stance. So it's whether he's holding his sword low or high for his attack.
Oh, cool.
And then when you do finishers, it's either up or down, or the only direction that matters. So it doesn't matter which way you're pointing. It's as long as the swipe is up and down, or left and right.
Yeah.
It can point either direction, but it'll read that you're doing left or right. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's the right hand controller that has the
one that's got the sensor, yeah.
Okay. I guess you're backwards to me. Whenever you
I am backwards.
Yeah.
Because I have it flipped on Discord because Discord mirrors you. So and I capture the Discord screen so it's everybody else can see me forward since I'm the one streaming.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I remember that it had that, but I never knew exactly what it was for. But it's like, do they really need that to be able to sense level? Like, can't they have like a? Don't they have another sensor that does that on the inside? I don't know.
It just makes things more accurate. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably done actual like craftsmanship before, like wood or leveling. When you've got more than one system of measurement, you're more accurate.
Sure.
It's multiple reference points.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why it's nice, like, you have a ruler, but then you have a level to make sure that your ruler's actually lined up in the right direction and stuff like that. And then sometimes you actually use a balance on top of a level to make sure things are really proper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. But I thought it was funny. It's like, hey, don't fucking come to me. I don't have power over that. Go talk to Nintendo if you want it on other systems.
Why were people like asking him? Like, I don't know how he would. I don't know how anyone would assume that he had any say over that.
Well, he is the freaking producer of the game, so I kind of get it. But he's not the publisher. And Nintendo's been publishing it since 2, when they picked it up. 2 wouldn't have happened without Nintendo, so it's not like you can even complain about it.
Yeah. Yeah, when you talk about first or second party games, it's the publisher that has all the control. I mean, I guess not everybody knows that.
Well, even with third party, the publisher still kind of has control. It's just more limited.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's limited control, and so you have to sign a contract, and maybe they'll give you like a release date when you can go to other people or something like that. But within whatever the initial contract is, the publisher pretty much has complete control.
But if it's truly third party, they're much more likely to just be cross-platform.
Yeah. It's just whatever the initial contract says. They're more lenient anyway as a third party, and they're often putting in less money if it's third party as well.
Or no money. If it's truly third party, then the console maker typically has no. Or are you talking about the publisher?
I'm talking about the publisher in general, right? So like, it's not always a console maker. Nintendo is both a publisher and hardware. So are most of these people, right? Like Sony and Microsoft are both hardware and software. But like the same could be said with Bandai Namco as a publisher. Right, and they have other companies working with them that license out, and so they're the ones that go and talk to Nintendo and stuff, and they're the ones that do that. And typically, the publisher still has control in whatever limited fashion the contract was originally signed up with.
Oh yeah. I didn't understand what you were saying.
Yeah. I was talking more on the software side.
The publisher decides where it's going to be published. Generally.
It just happens to be that the publisher of this game also happens to own their own hardware, so of course they're inclined to only have it on their hardware. That's the big deal here. Yeah.
Exactly. So there was one thing that we didn't get to talk about last time.
Oh, what was it?
You don't remember?
No, because it's been an entire weekend.
We were going to talk about ActRaiser Renaissance.
ActRaiser, that's right, which was available that day, and I wanted to talk about it. We ran out of things to do. Yeah,
I wanted to make sure we got it in.
Yeah, we do need to get it in. It won't take too long to talk about. As I was going to save it for the end, and we just ran out of time.
Yeah. Now, so here's an example of a game that is on Steam and Switch.
Yep.
At the same time.
ActRaiser is a classic. Like you said, you've never played the original, right?
No, but I've seen it. I've seen it played.
Yeah, so you're familiar with it.
Very familiar, yeah. More familiar than you would guess from the fact that I've never played it.
Yeah.
I've watched it a lot, and I've kind of thought, like, it's like a cool game. I just never got around to playing it.
Yeah, well, so it's like it's a classic NX game, and I'm a big fan of both Square and NX before they became a unified company. I liked a lot of their like solo titles, and I don't know why. I thought, oh man, these two companies coming together, that's probably like the best thing ever. And somehow that wasn't the case, because that's about when the company started going downhill.
Yeah. So here, I definitely have to put this up on the screen.
Yeah. But back in the Super Nintendo game, on the SNES, NX and Macrospace made this really cool 2D kind of like side-scroller RPG called ActRaiser that was very, very novel for its time because it had the weird urban planning section to it that was like, why is this in the middle of my RPG? But it worked because it like fit with the story of the game thematically, and it really didn't stall the pacing of the game or anything like that. And there was a sequel, ActRaiser 2, but now we got a new one, which is this Renaissance.
Yeah. Sorry, my Discord half crashed. So.
Oh yeah.
Let me try that again. There we go. Yeah, that was weird. Is it working now?
Yes, it is working. It can be seen. Yeah. It looks great. It's got a lot of the aesthetic of the old game, but with modern HUD and just graphics in general.
Mm-hmm.
The original game, a good way to describe it would be Zelda 2, but if it was on the Super NES, and then had urban planning. I think that's a really good way to describe it. It's got the very, very typical SNES NX life bars and stuff like that too. A lot of the aesthetic of it is similar to fucking Soul Blazer. But even the overworld, when you go off to the urban planning stuff, looks a lot like Zelda 2 as well in the old game. With the urban planning and stuff. So you could tell it was very highly inspired by Zelda 2 and a bunch of the other games that were inspired by that. You can't see it as much in this game. It actually almost has more of a Castlevania aesthetic to it now because of the way things have progressed.
Yeah.
But it's still, if you're familiar with the game, it still looks like ActRaiser.
Okay, let's get to actual gameplay. Okay, here we go. Boy, they don't get to the gameplay until 2/3 into the video.
Wow.
So here we go. There we go. So yeah, it's a 2D platformer combined with SimCity.
Yes. But it's a 2D platformer action RPG. So there are the classic RPG mechanics that you're looking for. Which in many ways does make it similar to Castlevania because Castlevania has gone more into the RPG route the longer the series has gone on. And yeah, it's kind of like that Zelda 2 style system. You're going back and forth. You're fighting enemies and stuff. You're going into dungeons. But yeah, you've got this little SimCity kingdom builder thing, this urban planning that's been there since the beginning of this series.
It actually looks more like, have you ever played Caesar?
Yeah.
Or Populous or something? Yeah. That doesn't look quite like SimCity, but it looks like Caesar.
It's a kingdom builder.
Yeah.
Which is
so
great.
half the
one
time,
of the earlier games to do this, but it's also kind of similar to people who've been playing these Kingdoms of Amulet or other these phone games that are all kingdom builders, the Final Fantasy 15 one. So people will be familiar with this level of gameplay and should adapt to the mixture of this game pretty easy if they've never played the original.
Yeah. Now the original came out on SNES?
Yes, that's how that's what I believe. It was ActRaiser was a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah. Let's go back to that.
And so was ActRaiser 2. They were both Super Nintendo games.
Yeah. But I remember seeing these parts and thinking, yeah, it looked at the time a lot like Zelda 2, but now it does look more like a Castlevania game almost.
Yeah,
I see what you mean with the life bars.
The way things progressed.
Yeah. So that's cool, yeah. So this is ActRaiser your jam?
Oh yeah, dude, I like ActRaiser.
So half the time you're the policeman kind of guy. And the other half of the time, you're this angel.
Yep.
Are they related? Do they know each other? I don't.
They know each other. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You're the same guy too. Like if you look back, the same dude with the freaking blue tabard and the freaking like Valkyrie type helmet thing. Same exact character to the original ActRaiser. I love seeing all this stuff again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. It looks like a very faithful remake.
Yeah. I'm glad. Well, because they could have made a remake, and they could have changed everything about it visually, right? Like they could have changed the way the character looked and everything, but all this stuff looks like the same enemies and the same characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of remakes where they do that, where it's like, oh yeah, it's the same game, but it's got a completely different skin to it. Have fun. By the same company. What's it, well, no, not by the Enix side, but the company that owns it now, right? Because it's Square Enix. The Square side, fucking Secret of Mana, the Game Boy Advance version. I'm trying to remember the fucking name of it. Sword of Mana, right? Which is basically just a remake of the Final Fantasy Gaiden, adventure, but they remade it to fit the story of Secret of Mana. There's no problem with that, but it's like it's a remake of the game with a new skin. Nothing looks the same because they're trying to pull in line. No, instead of giving a new skin, it's just the exact same game. Just it looks very nice. Yeah.
Very cool. I'll have to play it since I never did play the original.
Yeah, I want to play it. I've got so many things on my backlog and things I need to get that it's got to be pushed down.
And let me just tell you, Microsoft or whoever releasing Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town for free for 4 or 5 days. Oh my god, that was brilliant of them because I'm hooked. I haven't bought it yet.
Still free?
I think it's still free for like one more day. And then it's going to deactivate. But oh my god, I'm so addicted. It's basically 3D Stardew Valley. It is. It is a total
3D Harvest
ripoff.
Moon. That's all it is.
But no, it's a ripoff of Stardew Valley. I am telling you, total ripoff. But I love it. It's really good. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Story of Seasons.
It is. I'm like, oh my god, this is like just one for one Stardew.
Well, it's nice to see that Story of Seasons is incorporating some of the stuff that people like Concerned Ape wanted to see Harvest Moon take out, but they just never did. Yeah.
There are some aspects, obviously it's not exactly the same.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when I'm just playing it. I'm like, fucking Stardew, like everything.
Well, it should be though, right? Like even if they came to it of their own, the whole point to Stardew, it's like Concerned Ape didn't like the direction that Harvest Moon was going, and it's like, here, this is the stuff that the series should have been incorporating into it. So if anybody did their job right, you should eventually see a game like that where they're incorporating that shit. That's the expectation. It's just about damn time.
Frankly, that's why I'm really, really loving Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town, because I love Stardew. Yeah. And this one is just, hitting all the right notes. Only it's even better because it's in 3D and there's more. Although better in some ways and not so good in other ways. I have to say the springtime egg hunt was extremely disappointing compared to Stardew Valley's.
Yeah.
But that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, well, that's the show. I'm glad we actually finally got to talk about ActRaiser. I'm glad you remembered because I forgot. That whole weekend just passed by and I started doing other things.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it like all weekend. Gotta remember ActRaiser. Gotta remember ActRaiser.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yeah, like I said, you need to play it because that's totally a you type of game. I'm surprised you just have never played it up to this point.
No, I've seen people, but I don't know. For some reason, one of those things I just never got around to.
Yeah. I've had that similar experience like with Saga. I still just have never gotten around to the Saga series, even though this is like, well, I've played Legends, but I've never continued into like romancing Saga and stuff because I had no idea they were the same fucking game. And I kept seeing it too, and it's like, this is totally the type of game I would play. And if I knew it was part of a series I already started, I probably would have played it by now, and I just never got around to playing the Saga series.
So you have played Final Fantasy Legends?
Yeah, I've played the first 3, like the actual 3 in that trilogy. No idea that they were the Saga series. Yeah, I even bought the collection of Saga.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh man, I would have played Romancing Saga back when it was new if I knew that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I beat all 3 on the original Game Boy. Long time ago.
Yeah. It just, because of the way they market it, it's like, man, I know having the name Final Fantasy, that's even what got me to buy it in the first place, or ask my parents to buy it for me. But like, I kind of wish they marketed it as Saga from the beginning, because then I would have known to pick up the rest of the series when it came out.
Yeah. Call it Final Fantasy Saga or something like that,
something.
Instead of Legend.
But, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with somebody else who might like it. If you really enjoy the show, consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/Vomitorium Live. Every dollar helps us not have to pay the hosting fees for other sources of income. We are about halfway right now with a few days left in the month. I mean, if we don't make it, it's fine. I can cover it anyway. It just really helps. And in the meantime, we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks, bye.